Guardian.
She said she wanted to express herself, so I gave her a thumbs up.
Ready to check. Please, Guardian. It's busy.
Sure. Rhythmic physical expressions won't win a fight, but they feel good. And feeling good is...
Let's check. You must have messages. Hi again.
Do you
Your
have
return
something for me,
honors me, Guardian?
Are you ready? Yes. A prepared soldier is a victorious soldier. How are hidden operations on Mars?
System diagnostics complete. This unit functioning at 98.3% optimum performance.
What news?
Are you doing like some crazy edits to it as well, or?
Ikora and I have our disagreements, but we will always resolve them and be stronger for it.
Absolutely destroying all the perks that people have come to use for years and actually balancing them to make the player experience difficult, or
2 years
just
later,
like
can we start from the
actually
beginning again? I just got here.
ripping the band-aid off and actually disabling like broken exotics in a competitive environment. But
It's like surgical solution.
they haven't
Rather than
chose
saying
either path
not
yet.
swap has to be on everything, and we're going to affect all the build diversity. Wouldn't it make more sense to just say these 3 specific exotics are going to be
Ikora
out of
and
the
I
picture
have
for
our
now? Like,
disagreements,
that seems
but we
like a
will
better way
always
round
resolve
to
them
me.
and be
But
strong.
I also know that, for example, on Hunter, Hunters really care about having their Celestial, and so if you took that away from Hunters, they might feel like, well,
No way. Any MMO is a standardized playing field, and if you do that by not allowing swaps 59 times an encounter, not trying to find every little broken interaction and tuning specifically, that's way too much work. Every time it changes, it does nothing
We can change
for
things.
standardizing the player field. My take is hard to understand. Are you talking about him or me?
How are hidden operations on Mars?
What is hard to understand? The thing is, Destiny isn't an MMO. I'm not going to even get into that argument because it really is irrelevant. He's saying it's impossible to tune way too many things. No, I get what he's saying. I'm asking what Gustavo was saying. Because I've been saying that for years. That's not a new take. I think that's part of the reason that Destiny 3 needs to happen. And I've said this for years. You can go check my receipts. Before anybody called for D3, I had everybody on my ass during Witch Queen when I said we needed a
Ikora and I have
D3,
our
and everybody
disagreements,
said the game was
but we
perfect and they
will
were having a
always
blast.
resolve them and be
Come to
strong.
find out 6 months later, everybody's miserable and the game's going downhill.
Staying alert.
It is. It's impossible for them to balance too many things. But the thing is it almost feels like They just ignore the things that seem most important. I mean, do you want more damage perks or stackable damage? My point was that they said they were not going to do damage perks like that anymore, but then they continued to do so. It's not about what I want. It's about what they're saying versus what they do. That's the point. I'm not against it one way or the other. I don't care if I'm all for whatever makes a more enjoyable player experience, because you need a player experience that actually requires you to put some thought into build crafting and using your build correctly versus just equipping one piece of armor and clicking mouse 1 and being absolutely brain dead, you know? I think there needs to be a balance. That's all I care about. Anything else in between / surrounding that is just discussion. At this point, not swap will just make the game feel worse to play.
I wonder what that says about us.
I mean, I think I am more leaning on that side of, like, not swap is... It's more of a negative than it is a positive. Because it's like, you give all these people... We've been grinding to have all these things to equip, and you give people things like loadouts. So you can literally swap a loadout instantaneously. You give people access to these systems, and then you go and say, oh, you can't use this. In the highest, most prestigious setting. How does that make any sense? Because I feel like that's where you would want it the most, right? In the most intense / highest prestigious setting, you would want to have access to being able to switch things instantaneously and using your best possible combinations that you've put together.
My whole class kind of output, my class purpose is being reduced a little bit here and made a lot less exciting. So I totally understand that there might be some sort of detractors of that suggestion I've just made, but hopefully you can at least see my point. The not swap is a very broad brush approach, whereas if they'd just done a more precise one, maybe we would.
That's usually what they try to do, though.
Still, there is also a chance that there are also other exotics that I just don't know about that also give you like plus 50%, plus 70%, stuff like that. And who knows? I mean, if there are a load of those, maybe it's just going to be really difficult to sort of do that precise approach, and then maybe broad brush is the way to go. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably have to give...
Whatever. How many times do you give a big company the benefit of the doubt before you start to not believe in them, or the way, before you don't believe their statements anymore? Three and are you guys just saying 7 because it's the Bungie? One more every time? I go case by case. With Bungie, I'm way past believing anything they say. Damn, you came out of the lurk zone to say that, bro. That's how I know. Because I feel like one of the biggest criticisms people have had on me and the way I talk about the game is like, not to pull seniority card, but I will in this case. Like, I've been here since the very beginning of Destiny. Like, at a certain point, you have to put your foot down and just be like, okay, I'm kind of done being misled. And it's like, I'm now at a point where it's like, I just stay in my own lane. I plan for the best, or I hope for the best and plan for the worst. Because I feel like it's just gotten to a point where it's very hard to believe, like, these big promises that we get anymore. Like, oh, the biggest one is always, we're listening. That shit, whoop, over my head every time, dude. I will never, ever believe that, ever again. And to the devs at the studio who have listened, I appreciate you. And I know there have been some of you who have listened. So I don't want to to like throw you in with the people that haven't been listening, but
next point is something I am very confident about because it directly affected my Sundered Doctrine contest clear, and it then affected my Sundered Doctrine duo contest clear, and it's the following. Okay, we specified earlier that contest difficulty is in a pretty good place. Apart from Ron, which was not tuned well, contest overall has been pretty good recently. So what it seems like is happening is we are taking...
The one thing I will say, sorry to pause again, like after 3 seconds. I kind of hope they turn it up just a little bit more, because the Shrieker encounter in Sunder Doctrine was bugged, and we were doing way less damage than we were supposed
Almost
to.
as old as streamer.
But it still made it hard enough to where it actually felt really good to finally finish that encounter. If they just turn up the dial a little bit more, I feel like it's like we're right there, but we're very close with contest. By the way, Mitch, thank you for 52. Agua, thank you for 56. Rooster, thanks for the 32. Stitch, thanks for 4 years. Lunatic, thank you for the 51 as well. Thanks for the long-time subs, guys.
A problem from normal raids, assuming that's who DMG was referring to, having been complaining to him. We're taking a solution to a problem in normal raids, and we are applying that to contest, which people are already pretty happy with. And by taking that solution and applying it to the contest mode, it's actually gonna further amplify a problem that contest mode does have right now that's separate to all the other stuff we've talked about so far, and that is ammo economy. The reason this is important is in a
the biggest issue
normal
in the entire game.
Dungeon run, you can farm as
PvE
much ammo
was.
as you want across as many DPS phases as you want, because there's no enrage, right? Enrage is not coming for you. So you can just sit there and farm ammo for half an hour if you want with a heavy brick finder and a heavy scout. You can generate it for your team, and then you can jump into DPS. You could mess up the DPS, just farm again, jump into DPS, you're chilling, right? The time pressure is not really there. But on contest, it's a little different. You are gonna hit Enrage after 3 DPS phases, so you need to make the most of those DPS phases, right? And the in-betweeny bits, your mechanics phases or your ad clear phases or whatever, are going to be opportunities for you to farm that ammo, and you're going to need to be ammo efficient while you do so. Now, I haven't played these dungeons, so I don't know if you can spend like 20 minutes farming heavy ammo in between your 3 damage phases if you're on contest. Like, I don't know if the game lets you do that or not, but let's also just recognize that that would be a really boring way to play the game. So let's assume that you don't want to do that, right? Let's assume that the ideal approach here would be for you to efficiently farm some ammo during the mechanics phase, and for you to then use that ammo during DPS and do as much damage as you can, right? In that scenario, loadout swapping actually serves a really important purpose and achieves something really cool, right? Which is that you can use a couple of different things, which we'll talk about in a second, to farm ammo more efficiently than just...
Here, I'll fix this. I'll fix this with one small change that I literally just thought of off the top of my head. If you wanna mitigate the ammo problem, there's like 2 small ways you could do it, and they're both very similar. If you hit X threshold of damage after damage phase, a rally point will pop up, and you can place a rally. You could maybe use like a currency or something to be able to place a rally. Maybe you just use a rally banner. Just having a rally like mid-encounter, there's a few ways you could do it, but it has to be, you have to complete like a semi-hard, not, how do I word this, you actually have to complete something challenging during the mid-encounter to be able to replace a rally. Ammo synth? Well, why would you do ammo synth if you could just place a rally? Yeah, honestly, I think the one that Pete Parsons would go for, guys, you spend 800 silver, you can place a rally flag wherever you want, mid-encounter. There you go. Game saved. You guys are welcome. Bungie, I will take 10% royalties. You guys have my bank info. Thank you.
Just using a heavy brick finder. And then when you're done farming your ammo, you can then switch loadout to a DPS loadout or a healer loadout maybe, or just something else, so that you can play the game again in a bit more of a fun way, rather than just being focused on like being an ammo printer, right? So what are some of the things that you can use there? You can use Cenotaph Mask. That's going to let you mark mini-bosses with your trace rifle. And when your teammates finish them, it will spawn in a heavy brick. There's Aeons with Second Insight. And that's going to mean that when you finish mini-bosses, you create a small brick for your team, small heavy brick. And there's also the Alethanim weapon. It's a primary, I believe. And kills with that give you energy, essentially, which you can then use to generate either special bricks or heavy bricks. And I can't stress enough how essential they are to use in contest mode. Like, if you're not using them, you're just not going to get the heavy ammo, right? Like, it's going to suck. But they do also mean that
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Back at it again with the undercover LFG raids.
This was shot in front of a live studio audience at twitch.tv/Sweatsicle.
Hello, please do not judge me off of my voice.
Can you guys hear me okay? Is my mic working?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why do you have a Sweatsicle voice?
What?
If I see myself in your next video, I'm going to be so happy.
Oh, you're talking about Sweatsicle. I'm in his community clan.
I'm watching you for a while if you are. You're probably not, and I'm just acting crazy. I'm just want to check something right now.
Who's Sweatsicle?
Seymour.
Is he really good at gaming or something?
Oh yeah, he gets World's Force a ton of times. He got World's Force Spire. Just gonna check a YouTube video to make sure it's not.
You know this guy's track record. You must follow up on him.
You watch his streams a lot?
Twitch.tv/Sweatsicle.
That's awesome. I don't know that name for some reason. I don't know who he plays with.
With Dean.
Aren't those guys
He's
the
not
cheaters?
cheating on Twitch. No, he is.
Anonymous is back, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently so. Now, ladies and gents, you know that I love talking about computer hacking, cybersecurity, that kind of stuff. And Anonymous is one of those spooky names that people who don't really know anything about computers and the internet culture are typically scared by, right? It's when you watch your favorite news organization and they talk about the scary hacker known as 4chan, and then you have to explain to them that, no, 4chan's a website, grandmother. Well, let's get you back home. Ladies and gentlemen, Anonymous is a virtually decentralized organization, so anytime somebody says they come back, you pretty much have to ask which one, who, where. This is not supposed to be an organization with a set leadership. In fact, anybody can claim that they're anonymous. I can put on a Guy Fawkes mask and pretend to be anonymous. We are anomalous. We are region. Forgive and forget. Expecto Patronum. And yeah, that's your typical anonymous lad right there. Now, obviously, there's other organizations, ladies and gentlemen. You might have heard of organizations like LulzSec, for instance, back in 2011. You talked about, compromising PlayStation Network accounts. You're talking about apparently claiming the ownership of taking down the CIA's website. So obviously you have an organization like this. Realistically, the reason why some of these hackers are quote-unquote so good is because in LulzSec's case, all right, which was a hacker collective, these people were effectively utilizing or, password reuse scenarios. So for instance, let's say that you made an account on, Ubisoft Connect. Ubisoft Connect gets hacked, your password, username, and passwords get leaked, and provided, they're not salted or anything, if your password is identified on one breach and you're somebody that just reuses the same password everywhere you go, congratulations, you are now hacked on 10 to 20 different or however many websites you are reusing passwords on. They would also typically go after, systems that were insecure. And obviously when you start pissing off governments and federal agencies, especially those three-letter agencies like the CIA, like the FBI, like the NSA, your time on this earth could come to a dramatic end if they don't just slap the cuffs on you and put you in a prison for the rest of your goddamn life, or at least several decades, to the point where you might really be questioning, was that hack worth it? This is not the movies where every single hacker gets a six-figure government job. No. Most of the times you come across a hacker collective, none of the hacks that they do are typically all that intricate, okay? It's very rare that you find yourself somebody that is like absolutely a god at the technical side of computer hacking. Usually you'll always find a couple script kiddies, if anything. Script kiddies being people who basically are just doing very rote hacking work, oftentimes downloading entire projects and utilizing them to do their grandiose hacks. So obviously you may not have known this, all right? God bless if you didn't. Twitter was taken down today. And apparently, according to the big man who owns it, Elon Musk, there still is, a massive cyber attack against X. So we get attacked every day, which is not surprising. Nearly every large service gets an attack every single day. This was done with a lot of resources. Either a large, coordinated group or a country is involved. And then, of course, you get the ominous tracing. So, this moment in time, I'm sitting there, I'm like, whoa, this site got taken down? God damn. But apparently there were people claiming ownership of this hack. So immediately I go on to, you know, obvious like platforms like r/pop culture. Now, I wouldn't know what pop culture has anything to do with, again, X being down, cybersecurity news, and the pop culture makes no sense. But of course, one of the things we'll get to with Reddit is it's pretty much been a platform that's taken over, and Reddit had to implement some crazy rules, but we'll get to that later. It's more of a tangent towards this video. I noticed something known as Anonymous Operation Dreadnought. So this was kind of floating around. I think I saw it on like Asmongold's Reddit too, just like basically people making this like weird claim that this anonymous organization was behind it. So I wanted to actually do some real research and see what this group really was. So surprisingly, they have a website known as opdreadnought.com. Now, Operation Dreadnought, we are here to fight against the fascism. I think we gotta. Let me just do a quick little Google search for you. That's the actual spelling right there. FASCISFC. It's just that easy. That has taken root in America. The party, the Republican Party, MAGA, Trump, and Musk are imbeciles who are drunk on power and get off on trampling down others. The American people are suffering for it. The world is suffering for it. There are some of the worst people on the planet hell-bent on destroying it and everyone on Earth. So yeah, this is anonymous, and obviously, you know, let's not pretend they're obviously not on the right side of the. They're not on the right wing side of. They're on the left wing side. Okay. All right. Again, I don't want the comment section in my turf war. I'm a cybersecurity guy. Cybersecurity has no political affiliation. It really just involves one nerd, a keyboard, a mouse, if anything, some terminals, maybe a fucking femboy on the other monitor, femgirl, whatever the fuck exists. And that's it, okay? Maybe furries, all right? At this moment in time, that's just all hackers really take. Now, if you go to the About sections, there is a anonymous operation to stop the fascism, all right? In the sidebar, there are links to groups and people that are enabling this. We need to disrupt these groups, call out their hatred. So, okay, let's look at the online OPSEC, okay? Make sure you look at these websites to say anonymous, all right? So they give you the EFF, Practical Privacy, Anonymous Planet. So let's go to protesting here. So again, with protesting, weather and dress, hydrated system de-escalation. Again, I'm not really reading anything about, you know, the actual cyber warfare side of things, okay? They've got white ally roles. They've got know your rights. They've got everything provided. All right, let's look at the groups they're against. These are all the Project 2025 groups, which we actually talked about. There was a bunch of furries that took it down. And of course, back then, there were a bunch of people that cyber attacked it. I wouldn't say take it down. And then, of course, you go into the actual, like, evil people in groups. So as far as the evil people that exist, you've got the Alliance Defending Freedom. I don't really know much of these I know Kiwi Farms. Okay, that's the evil organization here. Good luck on that. You've got Prager University. You've got Berezhny Russian hackers. You've got, again, it's just all like the Berezhny Russian hackers. You've got Prager University. You've got Berezhny Russian hackers. You've got, again, it's just all like the hit list of people that they're pretty much after, okay? But nothing here is, again, related to the actual, you know, hack on Twitter, okay? None of the actual hack is located. Now, the thing about hacks is what Twitter has gone through is something known as a DDoS attack, okay? So it's kind of cringe to me when people always say, oh, this is a massive hack that's taken place. Yes, a DDoS is in fact a hack, but it's not the same level of a hack that people are kind of expecting, where people are really doing some crazy technical shit.
Greetings, Guardians. My name is Byfear. In our expansive campaign against the Dreadnought, we've not been the only ones to take the fight to the enemy. Few have been as fierce to our opposition or as vital to our own efforts against the Dreadnought as Sloane. Her place within this new offensive against the Hive was cemented thanks to her time of exile on Saturn's moon of Titan. While the moon was captured within the Ascendant Plane, thanks to the actions of the Witness, she was the lone Guardian who remained behind to defend it and fight off the forces of Zivur Wrath that were stationed there. Over the years that she spent on Titan, she would eventually have an unfortunate encounter with Zivur Wrath, and though she would manage to escape, she was forever scarred by the events. But this scar was not a physical thing that might heal over time. Instead, it was a wound born of Taken corruption that would slowly eat away at the Deputy Commander. But this wound was not without its advantages, and it granted Sloane a unique degree of insight. Sloane's deeper connection to the Taken, being the only Guardian to have become Taken and the first to learn how to control such a power, has given us a chance to stop the Dreadnought's eversion anchors before they abduct more planets. For this reason alone, the Deputy Commander is one of the most important allies that we have in this war, and that's before we even discuss everything else that she's doing to assist us. But not everything is right with Sloane. Sloane's resolve is unbroken, but she's been forced to interact with a power beyond what any of us have faced, even beyond the Witness. That Taken power that she interacted with has tested her before, but even with Xivu Arath being weakened, Sloane still has to deal with something else, whispering in the background. Whispers from the deep. So today, we're going to dive into Sloane's story with the Taken, and we're going to talk about the influence behind the Taken affliction that she will now bear, potentially for the rest of her life. So when it comes to Deputy Commander Sloane, I think we have a few sources for her actual experience with Taken energy and the influences behind it. I'm not going to go over the time when she was corrupted by this Taken power, because all of that's from back in the Season of the Deep and there's plenty of video stuff covering all of that. I think you can check my coverage from back then if you are interested. Today I wanted to check in on the more contemporary stuff, and in particular, I think there are 3 or so sources that we can really pull from to examine this more closely. The first of them is from a missing voice line that we would otherwise have gotten from Sloane in orbit. It still shows up as subtitles. Sloane says a lot here about your first steps on the path of resolve that she is guiding you down and that she also has walked. That path has allowed her to control the Taken energy within her. But the thing is that she mentions the deep here directly. It's not voiced in-game due to the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike, so I'll be reading it for you directly. You've taken your first steps into a very deep well. The Dreadnought isn't going to hold back, and as long as it can use those anchors like weapons, neither can we. Lots of things push a person to seek out being taken. Loss, weakness, power, revenge. It's important to remember that the promises the deep makes you are just bad deals. Don't let yourself get wrapped up in them. Control and resolve, stick to the plan, and we'll all see this through. I've got Drifter doing anchor recon. If he turns anything up, I'll give you a call. Until then, keep squeezing. So, it seems a little bit odd, because this is kind of a line that's honestly very passive, even though it's presented to a lot of people in orbit. It's weird because, well, this is a huge admission. Not only do we get the admission that Sloane knows that there is a voice within the deep, which is spelled with a capital D and is therefore a proper noun, aka a person or a place, but we also get the admission it is therefore a proper noun, a voice within the deep, which is spelled with a capital D. Sloane knows that there is a voice within the deep, which is spelled with a capital D and is therefore a proper noun, aka a person or a place, but we also get the admission that the deep is making offers to those that become taken, and that that voice is the one behind them. Sloane obviously become taken, but we also get the admission that the proper noun, aka a person or a place, but we also get the admission that the deep is making offers to those that become taken, and that that voice is the one behind them. Sloane obviously knows this because she is spelled with a capital D and is therefore a proper noun, aka a person or a place, but we also get the admission that the deep is making offers to those that become taken, and that that voice is the one behind them. Sloane obviously knows this because she can hear that voice and is tapped into the same Taken power that all the other Taken are bound to. This on its own seems like a bit of a massive point that sort of goes under the radar a little. I mean, Sloane is basically admitting that the Taken are bound by a voice beyond their comprehension and that it talks to all of them, offering them what they want. This makes me consider an interesting possibility that I think has kind of been stated a bunch, but is kind of left back in the old lore for people to consider. And that's that the old Taken King Grimoire cards for the individual Taken are not from the perspective of Oryx, but again, are from the perspective instead of the one who is inevitably behind that voice in the deep, the Winnower. And again, this all seems to make a lot more sense. There's so much talk nowadays about taking up a knife and becoming sharp, and you'll see more of that as time goes on and as we read more of the lore today. The Winnower clearly feels like it's there. It's got those kind of grubby fingerprints that you can sort of always tell. It's indelibly there. It leaves its mark. And yes, we've never truly had that little bit confirmed that it is the Winnower talking in the Taken King Grimoire cards for the individual Taken. It could still be an intermediary force instead that's under the Winnower's control. But then again, the Tablets of Ruin from this season give us further context and show us something else too. Namely, it confirms as fact that Oryx's meeting with the Deep in the Books of Sorrow, verse 4.2, was actually a meeting with the Winnower, given that the quote in the flavor text is from that verse verbatim, verse 4.2, majestic, majestic. So it seems pretty conclusive. Sloane and the other Taken can hear the voice of the Winnower, the voice that both Sloane and Oryx describe as the Deep, which the game confirms is the Winnower. They can hear the offers that the Winnower is making, and Sloane has been actively pushing through all of that as time goes on. So just recontextualize that for a second, because in those moments where she was being completely assaulted by the warmongering will of Xivu Arath on Titan, where she nearly killed Zavala, she wasn't just trying to hold back Xivu Arath, she was also trying to hold back the Winnower and all the offers that it was giving quietly. We have no idea whether this is something that has affected her long term, but we do get some further notes on it a little bit later. This is why we have to consider some of the other lore that's cropped up in Heresy that's related to Sloane's story, and it's here that we can talk about further sources for all of this. One is the lore tab of the Adamantite, and the other is the lore tab of the Apostate's Blade Helm. Of course, I say helm, it's different according to each class. The lore tab is the same on all three. Adamantite is more about the nature of the Taken as compared to Sloane, and it talks a lot about the innate hunger of the Taken that she uses her resolve to fight off. The Apostate's Blade Helmet, on the other hand, is much more about Sloane's own recognition that the tempting voice of the Winnower in the background, or the Deep as she calls it, is still trying to reel her in. We'll save that one for last. Here's what we learn from the Adamantite. Inflexibility is its own virtue. Sloane. Surrounded. They hate her, but it's an empty hate, driven by an instinctual quantum state. She knows because that hate is a part of her too. She approaches them head-on, presenting as wide of a target as she can, her pauldrons shining in a sea of undulating mouths. The nearest takes the bait, unable to ignore its hunger. That hunger is a part of her too. She empathizes as she turns slightly, and a dark, barbed appendage flicks past her cheek, causing sparks to chime off her armored shoulder. The Taken thrall can't recover before her Roderick C tears its approximation of a leg to pieces, dropping its writhing skull directly in line with her muzzle. Its death wail echoes in tandem with her sidearm, while its hunger for her lingers as its body shreds away at an atomic level. The shadows around her are equally starved. She knows because she's starved too. Unlike them, she controls it. For every shadow around her, beckoning her to join them, her muzzle cracks. She slips, she ducks, and everywhere she sees an opening, her will hardens. She throws her bones, wrapped in unrelenting plasteel, into the fray. She puts bullets into conjured brainstems, facts dispersing feelings. Resolve got Sloane through Titan. Resolve will get her, and everyone still alive, through this. It's too late for Eris. It might be too late for Drifter. Run off for the last time to who knows where. In the bowels of this living beast of a ship. She turns slowly, looking for targets. Detecting no sentient shadows, she keys a switch on her armored gauntlet. Landing zone is clear. Keep the Dreadnought patrols coming. We'll take it inch by inch if we have to. So Sloane is constantly feeling the same hunger as all the other Taken. A hunger that leads them to surrender to the Winnower's offering. The difference between these Taken and Sloane is partly due to Asa shielding Sloane, which we'll get to in a bit. It's something mentioned in the next lore tab we're reading. But it's more than just that, because other Taken entities aren't just abducted, not all the time. There isn't always a fight against the will of the Winnower. In some cases, they allow themselves to be taken and give in to the Winnower's offering willingly on account of the fact that they are enticed by what it has to offer, and that they don't have the absolutely titanic concentrated willpower of one of Earth's greatest guardians. And for that matter, another little small side note, can we please get Sloane a better weapon? Like, I know she has her old Crown Splitter sword, which is now in her possession, but that is a Roderick C she's using, a weapon I'm sure some of you have vague memories of because you've dismantled a bunch of them. You know why? Because it's a blue sidearm. Yeah, someone throw her an old duty bound, or maybe just a different sidearm, a Boudica C if she wants Haka weapons that at least have a second perk. Give her a legendary. I mean, hell, get her a rocket sidearm. Give Sloane nice things, Banshee. God damn it. Jokes aside, Sloane's a pillar of strength here for being able to stave off that hunger in the same way that she has for so long. She's been doing this for years, and only came close to breaking a single time when pressed by the will of Xivu Arath, which was bearing down on her at the end of the Season of the Deep. But she was able to quickly step back with the assistance of friends. But just as Sloane has plenty of resolve, she also has plenty of wisdom, and she knows that this is a pattern that cannot last forever, because it is a pattern of attrition. We learn as much from the other lore tab that I mentioned, the Apostate's Blade Helm. There is a knife for you. To be taken is to yield. Sloane hears it, that refrain that haunted her in Titan's depths. Take, live, and quieter behind it, something that stirs, a whispered offering. There is a knife. That part is newer, and it troubles Sloane. A bond with Asa insulates, protects. There can be no claim on her by force, but that says nothing of Sloane's own will. No material yet exists that cannot be worn down in time. Oceans, whether methane or water, break rock into sand. Any yielding is akin to ceding entirely. Sloane cordons off any sense of that nagging offer. She will have no risk of slipping. She will know perfectly where she ends, where the taken begins. There is no room for doubt. She thinks in her meditation of Eris. Eris who went down into the pit. Eris who came back changed. Eris, hive enough to stand as god of vengeance. Does Eris have such a delineation? Does Eris say, here is the hive and here is Eris Morn, and never the two shall meet? No, she cannot. Or that new hive god made chitinous from her flesh would have been someone else. Sloane imagines, what if she did the same? What if she took into her hands a grievous knife and said, Sloane is the one who holds the knife. Sloane is the knife. She is sharp, sharper and alight with the sterile flame of the taken. It is not the same. Sloane knows it, heart deep, bone deep. She cannot put that knife down once she has taken it up. Not like Eris and the hive. What is taken is not given back. No, it cannot be the same. So there's an interesting note here. I think this makes reference potentially to both the Winnower and the Echo of Navigation, given that it talks about the newer part to those quiet offerings made in the deep, those things she had to endure while she was on Titan. The initial offer is merely take, live, which I believe is the voice of the Winnower itself, And that newer voice saying, "Take up the knife," I think might be further reinforcement from the echo of navigation, something like Oryx's remnant spirit, repeating the old lines that he would have made when he made his proclamations to each individual that would have been one of his taken. But regardless, this power comes from the same source, and Sloane here is facing up against a grim reality. The reality that no matter how much she holds off the offer from the whispering voice of the deep, she will not be able to hold out forever. She knows that she only needs to fail once, and only briefly. She only needs to give in one time and pick up the knife being offered to her. When she does, she knows she will never be able to return. The voice has been whispering to her since Titan, and she's only truly completely insulated from the worst effects of being taken because she is protected by Arsa, something which again is revealed in this passage. Without that protection, she would be in a lot of trouble by the looks of things. But that is to say nothing about the prior mention of temptation. Arsa is essentially stopping the Winnower or any other who might attempt to take Sloane from using the metaphorical stick to control and abduct her. Instead, those forces are only able to push for control using the metaphorical carrot instead. But that carrot has been offered for years, and I think more importantly, is being offered by the equivalent of a god. A mostly quiet god who passively is willing to look and wait and sit back as the world unfolds according to its plans, but a god nonetheless. And not some god of the hive that is merely a powerful paracausal being. This may be an individual closer to godhood than even the Witness. An individual on par with the Traveler at last. An individual who was there before time itself began. At least, if we're to believe its own accounts. There is only so much Sloane can truly do to hold off that kind of power for so long, and all the while there is an offer in the background that acts as a sort of forbidden get-out-of-jail-free card. If ever she needs more power, if she is ever pressed to the point of breaking, if she ever finds herself unable to save those she needs to protect, the offer is always there. And if in one of those moments Sloane falls and gives in momentarily to temptation, allowing her resolve to falter, then she will fall in the same manner that so many taken have fallen before her. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. And so we should be aware, as we reach into this power, we may have to go down the same journey. Sloane is unquestionably strong, and I don't think she'll be worn down anytime soon, but we need to be aware that even if it takes centuries, Sloane is a ticking time bomb. And above all, we absolutely need to protect Arsa. If Arsa is destroyed, if she dies, even if she is significantly weakened, then the Winnower might be able to apply that more forceful method of abduction. It's worth remembering that in that moment where Arsa was nearly taken by Xivu Arath at the end of the Season of the Deep, Sloane could feel that moment of her power waning. It was in that moment, just after the ritual was broken, that Sloane herself was possessed by Xivu Arath. Arsa is her weak link. If we want to protect Sloane, we need to protect the Leviathan of Titan. But it does lead us to another interesting question, which I mentioned a little earlier. If Sloane is being protected from abduction by forceful means by Arsa, then what's protecting us? If it is the echo of navigation that would potentially be engaging in the act of taking, then it seems as though this is something where the echo itself is holding off purely for the sake of preserving Oryx's legacy. After all, if we are to take that power of the Taken, we eventually might also step forth into the deep and mantle it, and therefore we would not be taken, we would be the one to control it.
Hello everybody, my name is Wubba. Today we are playing some Destiny 2. We got some friends together just to do—
Said that. How do we tell him his ghost is recording everything?
Hey Ghost, turn the— Oh my god. Can I make it through there?
You can probably make it through that as long as you walk. Just be careful about where the Gorgon is.
Oh, I made it.
There you go. Now you want to see me ruin it?
And close left. It's right mid left.
Thank God.
Alright, you got the first one. Here. You're good. I got you, hold up.
This is my favorite thing here. Look at this, how it goes off her body. Snuffy, 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 Snuffy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Take a look. Like, doesn't it look like, oh my god, you know? It's just insane. The belly, like, look at that.
Oh my, wait, me, oh my god. Wait, did you know?
What?
That whatever direction you put it in is where the water falls?
You could have had any
Look, the
mannequin
water's
you
going
wanted.
down this way now, even though she's upside down.
But the shader is crazy. There's no reason for it to be this good.
This is by far the laziest, most useless piece of garbage I have ever seen on the internet to date. This is a video from Break and Bakewit called Wings of Redemption Begging for Money compilation. It's 21 minutes long. Imagine having a 21-minute compilation of you.
見せてため息で愛に触れて抱きしめて愛に触れてこのように一度でも傷ついて苦しむほど愛しさが深くないどこへ夜の果てただ会いたかった一人が辛くてひとときの慰めが欲しいのでしょう唇は好きになった詰め詰め優しさをただあげられてない抱きしったり夢を見せて
Load up, select, aim, fire. Heavy artillery delivered through the wire. Roll up, take away your empire. Heavy artillery, we bring the ball of fire. Load up, select, aim, fire. Heavy artillery delivered through the wire. This one heavy like 10 tons. So when I drop it on the spot, you know I bring the vibe higher. Fully loaded, ready, never folding. Active when I'm on a mission, check the stats, we leave you floating. It's vacant then it's open, shaky then it's broken. Madness when I envision all this Cali that I'm smoking. Trample like an elephant, sticking to the regiment. None of them do it better for the gal, them looking elegant than me. On my day ones, on screen, with the bait ones. Bring the vibe higher when we drop it like 10 ton, 10 ton, 10 ton. Drop it like 10 ton, 10 ton, 10 ton, 10 ton. I double up, you'll never see me double back.
and some funky pills, baby. to heaven.exe. Our training simulator will help prepare you for your inevitable yet incredibly special transition into the afterlife. Please sit back, relax, close your eyes. You are drifting into the light.
trait. An ironic observation. Their back is against the wall. There is nowhere left to run, and the pack closes in. This commander aspired to greatness, and now they are reduced to little more than